Welcome back, family, collective, soul tribe. Associate yourself however you like. And thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and your subscribes. Okay, family? Thank you for tapping in. I am truly grateful. I call upon the divine, my ancestors, angels, and spiritual guides to stand with me and within me as I deliver these messages. No lower energy or energies may enter this space. Only what serves truth, healing, and inner standing is welcomed here. And so it is. Ashe. Family, let me tell you something. I feel like many of you can feel this energy. You're going to have some haters around you. But there's nothing they're going to be able to do to stop you because the divine wants you to move forward with pure, clear intentions. And the first thing is to get away from those who have always tried to stop you from what is currently happening right now. Okay? The administration that is in office right now is cleaning up years and years and years worth of theft. Okay? Many of these people, they never got into office to govern. Now, here's the funny thing Spirit said to me. How are you going to govern a sovereign nation? I'm telling you. Okay, how do you govern a sovereign nation? How do you govern a sovereign people? Evidently, they don't know what sovereign means. Sovereign means you govern yourself. See, you govern yourself, family. You don't need nobody to govern you. What is needed to be done is those who are put in leadership roles over these states. They're the ones that need to be governed. Okay? Now, no, I'm not saying that we don't need your police and your firemen and all firemen and women and etc. I'm not saying you don't need that. But what I am saying is that who was trying to govern us? Exactly. Okay, so let's see what this energy is. Well, we know what the energy is, but let's see what the messages are pertaining to this energy. How do you govern sovereignty? You feel me, family? It's like you know right from wrong. You know what to do and what not to do. But these people was trying to act like, oh, we gotta watch them. We gotta watch them. No, mofos. Somebody should have been watching y'all. But let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. The government that tried to govern you. Ha! Ain't that nothing? Ha! Yeah, yeah. See, what it was that's why they watched you so tough, family. They didn't want you to uncover what they've been doing. And if it ain't, oh, I heard that spirit. Yep. Manipulative exes. Now, let me tell you who this is. This ain't just your ex, masculine or feminine energy. These are the ex energies. Manipulative ex energies. Okay? The ones that were trying to govern you. They're getting X'd out right now because they had gotten their positions only to fill their pockets. You could tell, and I don't care. You may be mad that I'm saying this. You can hate on the message all you want to, but I don't care what you say. The last 30 years has been shit, and especially the last 4. And when I say we was getting PIMP'd out, we were. We were. As a country as a whole, man, these people were in bed with everybody but who they were supposed to be in bed with, family, and that was you. And I don't mean literally in bed with you, but shit, they wasn't in their own backyard. These manipulative exes, they are getting X'd out. Okay, this could be old flame energy, but I don't feel that. This is an old flame energy though, because the old parties are being let go. They are. Left and right. Every time I look up, man, you talking about mortgage fraud. Good Lord. I ain't seen so many high ranking officials come up with these mortgage fraud allegations. And I say allegations, okay? But I just seen somebody there, it just flat out. You a governor in California, but you don't say you reside in California. You saying you reside in Washington. They say your primary residence got to be where you are supposed to be, running a district, right? How you a governor of a district or whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever your title is? How are you there, but saying you live elsewhere? Okay? Every single thing that they've been trying to come down on anybody else for, okay, any civilian, let's just say that, any civilian for, these motherfuckers been doing it. You got manipulative exes that were in on it. And let me tell you, I heard that before I even started the message. Man, why were these people in bed with these crooks? Everybody that been in your life that's been getting some sort of money, they was getting it from a crooked official of some sort. Okay? Yeah. These, and look, that's why they've been watching you, family, because they knew you was going to call them out for what it was. They figured you were stirring up trouble. No, you were stirring up the truth. Okay? They wanted to control you, your emotions, and they were doing it subtly. Yeah, underhanded ways. Message. Okay. Tell me more, Spirit. Because they knew you were the rising star. They knew you were the one that was going to bring some shit to an end for whoever this message is resonating with. I feel like a lot of y'all was already, look, I heard that the FBI gathered a lot of your complaints. For whoever this is resonating with, a lot of your complaints, because your local officials, your local government wasn't doing a damn thing about it, because they was in on it. So some of y'all started going to the, other folk, FBI, CIA, them three-letter agencies. Them three-letter agencies started investigating some of y'all's complaints. You may not have heard a word from them, but I guarantee you they started investigating some of your complaints. But wait for it. It was many. It wasn't just one or two or three. I'm picking up on y'all like somebody here relentlessly was on the FBI's helmet. Hold on, y'all. Excuse me. Somebody was relentlessly on the FBI's helmet like, nope, this is wrong. And it may have been many of y'all from many states. See, that's why they started monitoring you, because they was like, oh shit, that's the troublemaker. No, you're not a troublemaker. Here is the thing. Have you ever met a thief get mad at you because you want them to stop stealing from you? What kind of shit is that? You like, man, something wrong. They've been taking from you, taking your finances, taking your ideas. They was taken from you. You knew it. You was getting taxed 17 times. Okay, that was an exaggeration, but that's what it felt like. Your tax for your check hit you, and then when you're trying to get some of your money back from them three-letter words of the IRS, they hit you again. They knew you were this rising star, recognition and praise for your hard work. And many of you may be going through that or experiencing that now, or you feel that energy, okay? Quickly gaining status or success and moving upwards, okay? Because I feel like when there's a lot of stuff that's going on, family, okay? I just heard that too. The Federal Bureau of Investigations was already hip to a lot of things, but a lot of y'all might have just validated the information they knew or had, or you confirmed it for them. You added the icing on the cake to the FBI's investigations. This is what I'm hearing. You added the icing on the cake to the FBI investigations. That's why they were so busy monitoring you, because they already knew, and I mean your local government was monitoring you because they already knew you had the icing on the cake. And you had that icing on the cake by speaking your pure D, true, full, factual events and things that were occurring in your life. I'm telling you, you've been telling the truth about whatever's been happening for a very long time. Somebody already knew. Oh, I heard that too. The FBI already knew what they had done to you and what was going on. It's like you were the icing on the cake. They was lazy, okay? These people were real lazy. With this lazy lover energy, this is giving me that energy where everybody's in bed with their local government. I don't care what you say and how you say it. Yes. You are. You're in bed with your local government because once you're there, what do? You got to do? You got to register your car. You got to register this. You got to get your driver's license. And really and truthfully, That should really only be things that are done, family, for those who are using the roads, specifically the highway. Because if you don't know how the highway was created or started or whatever, it used to be strictly for military. The highway was, and don't quote me on this. I'm just kind of like running through the filing cabinet, right? The highways were created for governmental military use only at first. Okay. But see, a lot of people, they always look to see how to make the money. Okay. So then it became public use, just like the internet. The internet been around way, way, way before they made it public use. hmm That's why some sites now, when you go on your phone, you want to read an article, they want you to go on and start contributing and give them $59.99 for the year to get the articles. Okay, these are the people that put the newspapers out. But man, I seen a gentleman with a newspaper the other day, and it brought back so many memories because I was like, I remember back in the day, they had those newspaper throwing jobs. You get the newspaper at 4 o'clock in the morning. Either a car came by and threw it on the porch, or there was a kid, they had a basket full of them, and but that was the energy. You've been in bed with a bunch of lazy officials that were acting like lazy lovers out here, okay? Doing the bare minimum. Refuses to work. I promise you, they were refusing to work. They were taking advantage of mini bodies, okay? Taking advantage of all your resources. And they were doing the bare damn minimum. You were married to you weren't married, but you were definitely in bed with lazy lovers when it comes to this government party. hmm I feel like many of your complaints were the icing on the cake when it came to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, Central Intelligence Agencies, and all kind of stuff. 1211, 1212. Now, I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, we don't like that, because I see that. A lot of people like, yeah, the CIA, MK Ultra, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I also am picking up on the energy of like, they too have been tapped into your energy because it's like you are a all-knowing energy. You know all. And I don't mean all like that, but it's like your energy, your sense, you pick up, your intuitive discernment is like you're tapped in. You pick up when shit's wrong. You be like, this is not right. This is not normal. This should not go like this. And I feel like it's because you had that discernment, because you were thinking and running things from a common sense perspective. I can't make it up. You the reason. You the reason that they ships sunk, because you were selling above the drama. You were selling above all of the confusion. It was like while they were trying to throw distractions and have everybody uproared about this and that, you were like, that's so petty, that's so mediocre. Shit, here's the real damn problem. They never wanted to address the real problem because it would have unveiled their thieving asses. You stayed unbothered, but you kept your peace. But in keeping your peace, you also had a lot to do with putting the icing on the cake. Not getting involved no matter how much they wanted you to, because they wanted to, but let me tell you how they wanted to get you involved. They wanted to, give you a record. You looking like, I don't even do shit, and I'm not built like that. You ain't built to be doing the weird shit. You do not function like that. But these energies out here wanted to paint you out to be something like that, until somebody started taking a look like, well, you know what? This ain't the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth complaint from different people, not just you. They was like, shit, why are all these people saying the same shit? And they different. You could be over in Florida and you done said some shit. You could be in California. You could be in Texas. You could be in Minnesota. You could be in Ohio. You could be in, you know what I'm saying? And all y'all stories was aligning. And if I didn't call your state, drop it down there. And if I didn't call your country, let it be known. Folks been eating, and I mean for years, decades. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 decades. Okay? Yeah. They already knew as soon as you got to laying out what it was that you were observing through pure clear intention, because you like, well, okay, this ain't adding up. These supposed to be the people that, you know what I'm saying, are supposed, and how dare they try to govern us? You looking like, who are you to govern me with the shit you be doing? And these will be the first people to look at you and roll their eyes and turn their nose up and swear for God that they the law and breaking it left and right. That was a flawless execution. Congratulate yourself for whomever is resonating with this message, okay? Because the projects or the tasks that you observed, they went far beyond. And when I say the projects and the tasks, it was like, you was looking at it like, this is their job, because this is how they broadcast to the public. This is what they're gonna do. You were like, well, damn, how come they say this, but then when they get in office they do that? You know how many years they've been talking about doing this and doing that, and it never got done. It was just like a pitch for them to get voted for, and then once they got in, it was a wrap. They was like, okay, yeah, we're in here now, so out the window went all their shit, right? Yeah, project or task goes off without a hitch. I feel like I'm picking up on the energies where y'all was like, you know what, I give a damn. Some of y'all just was like, I ain't never tried to go to the FBI with shit, but I'm gonna use that now. I feel like y'all was the icing on the cake for a lot of these investigations that were already underway, but it was like they needed more information, because these were crimes against the very people they were supposed to be protecting and serving, which was the taxpayer. You're the one that pays attention to detail. And I feel like things are going as planned. Precise implementation. That's why they've been watching you. They've been watching you because they know you was the icing on the cake. You had a lot of these people out here fake applying, right? Oh, yes, we're doing so great. Oh, yes, we're doing this. We're doing that. Man, I sat up here and watched it, and I just put my head down like, you got to be shitting me. I seen it. I sat up here. I don't know if he the governor or not. I think he is. But why was he on the news naming a chicken or a turkey or some shit? And I thought to myself, that is what you're doing right now? You trying to appease a pagan holiday that's about to come up? That only reminds a nation of people of how they fell to your slaughter, and you on local news naming two turkeys or two chickens or some shit. I was like, oh Jesus, this is why. Like, we have put into office people that are fucking out to lunch. You got the whole wide world damn near in your hands, because they all network together. You can call across seas, you can call anywhere, and you are on here naming two birds. But you're not even addressing other issues. Yeah, that type of energy. And people out there applauding it, and I said that's the fakest shit I've ever seen. Okay, insincere or forced expressions of approval or appreciation. That shit was so fake, family. It was fake, superficial. It was the most superficial thing I had ever seen. I said to myself, right now, you have bigger fish to fry. But instead, you are out here and the name two chickens or birds or something. Yes, they were big, and I was scratching my head like, I know this is not real. And the news is there to film this shit? Oh, okay. Message. Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of love surrounding you, family. And it deepens and it flourishes because of the things that are unfolding now have a lot to do with you, and how many of you you expose the bull between this lazy love relationship, because it was supposed to be, they say that you love your state, you love your country, right? But when you sitting back and you looking at some of the things that they're doing, you're like, well, shit, how can I love this? Because they're not. How can you love something that seems to put you on the back burner? But you're the main reason that it's revolving. And when I say that, it's because, yes, you going to work, you putting in the time, you spending your money, there's the taxes. You know what I'm saying? You doing the things, you buying your homes, your cars, and all this other stuff. You're renting, you're paying these high-ass rents and all this other stuff. How? It started dawning on a lot of people, something ain't right. Something ain't right. I feel like many are going to be able to nourish themselves, okay? Especially in the right conditions, the conditions to thrive. You couldn't thrive with them kind of people. They was too busy taking. And they mad. They're mad that you spoke on it. They're mad that you was the FBI's icing on the cake for a lot of y'all. Now, some of y'all are thinking you never even said nothing, but let me tell you something. Oh, wow. All those ventings you've been doing on your phones to your family members and friends, etc., etc., let me tell you, Snowden wasn't lying. Everything tapped. Everything is tapped at 2122. So even those conversations you felt you were just having with your family members, or just, shit, they was listening in on them too. They was listening in on them too. Some of y'all are like, I never said a word to the FBI. Yeah, you didn't. So you think. I promise you. Look, that password snooping, that came out in the reverse. What does it say? Password snooping, install snooping equipment to track. I cannot make it up. To track looks through paperwork, watching carefully, and what is that? Eavesdropping. Okay, that came out in the reverse. I feel like a lot of people know that they had done that to you as well, but that came out in the reverse. So many of you might start seeing things cleared up, but I wouldn't go install nothing on your phone. Not until this whole debacle, because this is like embarrassing. Okay, I know the other side of the world is looking at the U.S. like Some of the other side of the world is upset too about what the U.S. is going through, because it definitely impacted their pockets, because I guarantee you it was thief to thief, crook to crook, across seas too. I also heard that, wow, okay, I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say that, okay. I heard shit, the U.S. about to be in a dictatorship too, but wait for it. I know a lot of people are pissed at that. They don't want that. But let me tell you why that's going to happen. Because your state, local, official leaders that y'all elected, them motherfuckers didn't do right. So this is the reason that they're opening up. They've opened up the gates to dictatorship. These people opened up the gates to dictatorship. Had they all been solid, had they all been living by the laws that they expect you to live by, there would be no room for it. But they have opened themselves up to a dictatorship, because it was like the federal government allowed for hundreds of years states to run themselves. This is the very reason that the USA is definitely leading into a dictatorship. Why? Because they're getting ready to prove that they could not trust their state officials to do the job. They were some lazy lovers. Because let me tell you, the federal government had a relationship with the state government too. They was some lazy lovers. They was all in bed together. Message. I'm just saying, watch. They can't trust anyone. See, let me tell you something. When people get in high positions of power, many of them let that go to their head. They see the money they can get. Most of these people come from backgrounds, y'all, where they grew up in, the ghettos, or, you know what I'm saying, they grew up in a well-off family but wanted more. It's either going to be one or two. They was well off or they were poor. Either way it went, they got in so they could get more money, and then they got in so they could take themselves from a poor poverty status to something richer. Bottom line. Bottom line. There is no in between. There was no gray area there, as you see that message. There was no gray area there. They were either already well off and wanted more, or they were poor and they wanted to change that. And that was the opportunity to do so. Get elected, get in there, and then get to moving around that money. I cannot make it up. Look what just fell out. A toxic cycle. That was a toxic cycle. Okay, repetitive negative pattern in your life. Don't say it wasn't. And especially with this type of a relationship, it was difficult to let go. It was difficult for you to let go because you had to function within this in this toxic ass cycle. It was hard to cut it off. How was you going to cut it off? What, you was going to move to another country? Hell, you was like, damn, hell, I ain't got enough money to move because these motherfuckers is taxing me left and right and up and down and all around. Look at all of these damn governors that and people that are getting caught up with the fraud when it comes to real estate. I don't care what nobody say. I don't like Jerome Powell. I never have. Do you see how he has aged since Trump has been in office? That man that got skinny as hell and is aging fast as hell. You know what that is? That's worry. That's worry, family. Because I guarantee you, when it's all said and done, he got a lot to do with a lot of shit that done cracked off. He's the reason behind these interest rates. There was no kind of way in hell that all these properties shot up damn near 50%. I mean, they did the biggest hike in properties over the last 4 years than anybody has ever seen. And then that kind of hurt my feelings too, because I was like, damn. I had said in another reading, in another timeline, okay? I was telling people, stop buying these houses for cash because they're not worth the cash that you are paying for them. There is no fucking way that a property does a 50% increase jump. So let's say it was worth a $200,000, it jumped to $490,000, or it has jumped by $290,000. So your $200,000 home just went to $490,000. You know why they did that, right? Yeah, you had a lot of cash buyers going on. A lot of cash buyers were out there. I kept telling people, look, stop buying that house for cash. Don't buy that house for cash. They about to do you. They about to do you. Message. Okay? Look. Spirit came in with a vibe check. Sure did. Okay? People want to check in on you. Now they want to see where you're vibing. You're vibing real high because you already knew what you knew. Checking in to see if someone is legit or not. You been vibe checking. Making sure they're on the same level. Good vibes only. You been vibe checking. Somebody loves the fact that you vibe check. You ain't out here just oblivious to the bullshit that's been going on, family. You ain't never been oblivious to it. You just was looking at it like, well, I'll be damn. How you gonna try to govern me and you the motherfucker that needs governing? How they try to govern you when they were the ones that needed governing? Wow. You tell me more? You already knew about these stale relationships. You knew they were stale. You knew what the problem was. I cannot make it up. You knew what the problem was. They was open 24/7, 365 days a year. Taken. You knew this stale relationship had an open revolving door 24/7 to some toxic shit. hmm They did. Look, whole identity crisis out here. Didn't I just tell y'all they was out here faking and shit? They said whatever they needed to say to get up into an office only so that they could fill their pockets. Soon as they got up in them offices, that was a green light for them. Green light, go. All signs pointed towards success. You hear me, family? All the signs pointed towards success for these people. So they moved forward because it was safe to go ahead. Everything was good. That is over at 30:33. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave that energy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let's close out. I call my power back. I release the weight of the matrix, betrayal, and deception. I stand rooted in my truths. I am whole. I am becoming, and so it is. Ashe. Okay, family. And until next time, you have a magnificent day. Ashe.